Welcome back to the Cinema Condition with your host, filmmaker, and creator of the Nerdcore Podcast Network, Raul Alejandro Mendoza. And as always, I am very happy to be here for our final entry into our Three Colors Trilogy series, as we've been looking at the three, because I think Mimic was like in between there, but I can't remember. But I have that set and it's out of print now. But it's I'm not gonna, or somebody wanted to buy it from me, like it's like, hey dude, it's going on eBay for like $400. You wanna trade it for something? You wanna sell it to me? I'm like, nah man, like that's my prized possession right there. I'm not giving that.
Dang, it's going for 400.
Yep. I think Paramount is like trying to make their own like exclusive, like what's it called, Blu-ray and 4K kind of like things, and to kind of with their physical media. So I don't know, bro, but I know that
everybody's so stingy about their money.
Yeah. Either way, Criterion is king. Criterion is king, bro. You don't still put them out of print, but like we always end up going back. We always end up going towards Criterion. Criterion is king. Yeah. So yeah, man. Hope everyone's having a wonderful day when you're listening to this. And I hope that everyone is doing all right, and I hope that everyone is doing well in their lives, my friends. The last two episodes have been doing pretty well, and I'm really thankful for y'all for giving it the love that you guys are giving it. So I'm guessing y'all like the trilogies. You like us doing trilogies like this. There's another trilogy coming towards the end of the year with another guest, but not towards the end of the year, maybe towards next year, but I don't know. But we have another trilogy set for this season, and the next season we have another trilogy. Somebody picked out. So yeah, man. It's sad that this is the last time I'll have Pat on the show because he decided to do a trilogy. But hey, you wanted to do this.
Yeah, it's been fun. What are the other trilogies before? Are you doing?
I'm not gonna announce that here.
Oh, okay.
That's for the people to find out when we get to those episodes.
I didn't realize it was a secret. All right.
Yeah, this man tries to like get things out of me, man. You say my location. You say my location on what may or may not be my location on the episode last week.
May or may not.
Yeah, and then then you asked me to leak episodes, man.
Dang.
No.
I didn't realize you were so exclusive.
I'm secretive about that, bro. Why do you think I have you guys not tell me the name of the movie you're gonna choose until the end? I want to be surprised. Yeah. All right. With that said, though, we have talked about Christoph before, and we've been doing that for the last two episodes. So there's no thing to introduce the filmmaker, but I do have some stuff from the movie here. Let me go ahead and bring it up. I had a lot more than just a sentence this time because there was actually a good amount of stuff on the Wikipedia article. Of course, this is the last entry in the Three Colors Trilogy. And it also is the last movie that Krzysztof Kieslowski ever made. He retired from this and literally was the last one because he suddenly died years after completing this film. Krzysztof says that this was the hardest of the three films to write because he felt that there wasn't enough. He felt that it was such a hard way to approach the film because he had all his ideas down. He didn't know how to approach it. He brought it down to two things. Either the medium of film was too primitive to approach this story, or he wasn't talented enough to write this film and make this movie. And obviously, we can tell that Krzysztof was, talented enough because he made a hell of a movie.
What does that mean? Film is too primitive.
I don't know, man. I guess we have to ask, Krzysztof himself.
Maybe he felt like it needed to be like
a play. It needed to be something else, man. I don't know.
Because I don't see film as a primitive.
No, I think if anything, it's a way more advanced art form.
Yeah.
Primitive, we think about like drawing and painting because like cavemen were making paintings and drawings like way before. But
he needed to invent a whole new art form just to create this film.
Pretty much, yeah. Nominated for 3 Academy Awards for directing, cinematography, and original screenplay. multiple César Award nominated, multiple BAFTA Award nominated film. Did not win any of these awards. It was nominated, and it was also disqualified for the Swiss entry for Best Foreign Language Film at the Academy Awards, because the Academy didn't recognize it as a majority Swiss production. I'm guessing it wasn't shot primarily in Switzerland. It was primarily shot in France, I guess. Either way, it's what's it called? It ended up being a bigger film than with or without that fucking Academy Award. And of course, this is based on the French revolutionary ideal of fraternity. And fraternity, we will talk about that. But yeah, man, we'll talk about that after we begin this conversation. But yeah, that is our notes on the film. We're looking at the story of Irija Kub's Valentine, a model and student, and the lives the lives of different people that intersect within this film, and how they all kind of intersect with each other, and what we learn from each different story in the film. I would say this is a really interesting precursor to stories like Amores Perros, where we don't have them literally interconnected, but like there are three different stories going around three different people, but we learn about them through different avenues and different experiences, rather than an interconnected event that that brings these three stories together. But yeah,
that's a cool thought. Yeah,
it's really interesting when I thought about it that way. But
yeah, I wonder how much that influenced the Inarritu.
Yeah, I wonder. I mean, I guess we would just have to go and ask Alejandro, right?
Yeah, he did mention that in Amores Perros. I think it's the middle section with when the guy marries the supermodel. He leaves his wife to marry the supermodel.
Yeah,
that he wanted that to be shot similar to a French love film.
Yeah,
I remember reading about that, and you can very much feel the similarities in the way that it's shot, and like the script and the pacing and everything. It's interesting. Yeah, I'm sure he was influenced by this.
Yeah. All right, man. Well, what's it called? Before we go into it, I'll just give a little quick thoughts, because of course this is a first time watch, and I usually don't review movies, but when I really enjoy the movies on here, I like to give it a shout out. This one is my favorite of the three. Blue is really good too, and it could touch it, but like this one was my favorite of the three. This one was just fucking incredible. That ending is just wow. Carrera was right. Yeah. That ending is like, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah. This is your probably multiple time rewatch. What did you think about it this time around?
I'm just such a sucker for the cinematography, dude. It's so awesome, because I feel like in a lot of films, or I hear a lot of cinematographers talk about how, you wish that you could shoot the most beautiful thing. Like, I don't know, make something look really great and do some like interesting lighting, but you also have to make sure that it serves the story, and you're not just shooting something random that isn't going to make sense. And I feel like the dude, do you know the cinematographer's name? I should have looked. The cinematographer for this was able to do both. Like, I feel like he was able to shoot just about whatever he wanted. He did some like really interesting reflections, and the way that he would bring things out of focus sometimes, and they were just like blobs of color, like the title shot where it's like, I think it's like a flashing call light goes out of frame, or goes out of focus, and it's just like a blob of red that looked really cool.
This was the cinematographer who had worked on the 2 episodes of episode 3 and episode 9 of Decalogue.
Do you know his name? Or are you not going to try to say it?
I'm not even going to try to say it. Yeah. you've got you fucked up thinking I'll be able to say that. No, I'm I don't know how to fucking say that at all. He also did the movie Trapped with Charlize Theron and what's it called, Courtney Love. Yeah.
Piotr Sobokinski. Sobosinski. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. This is the one that he had worked with what's it called with Christoph before.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, the cinematography is awesome. I really love the attitude of Valentine. I think like in the past two movies, there's some things like, especially about Carol, that kind of frustrate me. Or Julie was cool, but like also she's just like kind of going through she's just going through some things. And maybe it's just the whole idea of this movie being about fraternity is something that I enjoy so much, and how fraternity is like sympathy and friendship and just being there for each other type of thing. And maybe that's what just inherently makes me enjoy the movie. But yeah, Valentine just seemed like such a sweet character, and it's so awesome how much they incorporate. I mean, and I guess in every movie, how much they incorporate the color.
Yeah.
But in this one, like, I think kind of like what I was saying about the brown in your in your room. Like, I feel like even the wood in the movie a lot of the times had a very red like tint to it. Also, I love photography, and so like the fact that the guy was using a Mamiya, and you got to see the negatives, and then you see the how important that shot is of her, like the banner and stuff.
Yeah,
very cool, very cool.
All right, man. So let's get ready for this. Let's go ahead and get into our conversation on the final entry of the Three Colors trilogy, Three Colors Red. All right, let's get. I got a lot of good topics here, but of course, last week we were talking about like, the way that blue opens compared to the way that white opens. Mm-hmm. So let's just talk about the way that red opens, because red opens fucking crazy. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Like we're going through like the wires, and we see like the thing, and then we go like that was kind of like really nuts, don't you think?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was pretty crazy. And I had completely forgotten, because I remember I watched that interview, and Kieslowski was like, yeah, every intro is going to have like these electronic or something systems that we use every day but don't really understand. And I had forgotten. And then when I saw it in this movie, I was like, oh, that's so cool. And the part when it like goes into the wires and it's like zooming past is the cover of the Criterion.
Yeah, the Criterion set. Yeah.
So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I thought it was really interesting. It was like, what's it called? Of course, we've seen what wires look like, right? But we've never like, microscopically, looked at, like literally looking at wires and wondering how these signals kind of pass through these different wires. And of course, we understand later why Christoph decided to do the intro of wires, because a lot of this movie revolves around what's it called, telephone eavesdropping and basically wiretapping. What ends up becoming the primitive form of wiretapping, because it becomes a bigger thing later. Yeah, I thought that was the opening was really interesting, and how like it doesn't just stop at the wires, like we end up going like towards like the fire hydrant and shit. Like it's like was really interesting how you kind of opened this film compared to the way you kind of opened Blue, and why Blue we open it with the the motorcycle, and like it's going yeah, and then why we have the suitcase traveling through the conveyor belt. And then this one you're just like kind of passing through these several different household items, and then we go outside. I thought it was like a really interesting way to like how different what's it called, this opening was to Blue and to White. Anything stand out to you from that opening, Pat?
I think it was just cool.
Yeah.
I agree. I like how they got so like you got so microscopic with it, and it became this like really interesting trippy sequence. But yeah, I was just impressed. I think it was cool.
Yeah. Sorry for the dogs in the back. Jesus Christ.
Barking at the horse.
Yeah, they're barking at the horse, and they like to bark at the horse. Of course, this does discuss this. This one is based on the French ideal of fraternity. I mean, we can talk about specifically what fraternity means to us, but I have definitions. You know, fraternity means fraternity has two definitions here. A group of people sharing a common profession or interests, or the state or feeling of friendship and mutual support within a group. Yeah. What do you think, fraternity is symbolized within this film, bro? What do you think? How do you think we're portraying fraternity? Specifically, what do you think fraternity means to you?
To me, well, on a surface level, that word just makes me feel weird because I start thinking of frats. And I start thinking of like that fraternity type of stuff. But I feel like as far as, the actual definition, it's just kind of like community, but even more intimate. Just like kind of like an unconditional care for others. But I feel like when I think of fraternity, it's more intimate. So like the care that you have for your close friends or family, or just like the people who are close to you. And so I see that through the movie with how like Valentine interacts with the people around her, and especially how she becomes so close with what's his name?
Kern, I think.
Kern.
Kern. I don't know how to pronounce it, but like it's Kern or Kerin, or I don't remember how she pronounced it, but yeah, it's Kern, Joseph Kern.
Okay.
Joseph
So Kern,
yeah.
And then the dog that she rescues, the way she just shows that sympathy. And I guess from that, do you want to get into the recycling bin thing that we were talking about?
I mean, we can go into the recycle bin, but let me, let's go into the recycle. Yeah, you talk about the recycle bin, and then we'll go more into the fraternity. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I guess that's like a good segue, because so when we think about what each movie is representing with the different colors, it was blue is freedom, white is equality, and red is fraternity. And we had mentioned last week how the first two movies, there was this repetition of a scene where an old person who is like not necessarily disabled, but they're just struggling to place this glass bottle into a recycling bin, because it's kind of high up and they're hunched over and they're just old. Their body isn't working that great. And in each movie, the main character is like in the same area or vicinity while this is happening and reacts a different way. So like in blue, we see Julie, and she doesn't even, I don't think she even sees the person trying to put the glass into the receptacle. And so in some way, to Kieslowski, I guess that represented freedom, just how like maybe things can distract us from what we're trying to do. And so that maybe the idea of like her seeing someone growing old can distract her and not be like a representation of freedom. And then in white, we see equality. And we see Carol, he even notices the person and like acknowledges her, not to her, but himself. And he does like this kind of like evil grimace and doesn't help her. Mm-hmm. And it's like, let's see what they said. I think he says, this is just like an article that I found, but it says, I don't think people want to be equal. Everyone wants to be a little better. And that's true for good things as well as bad ones. So I think that's maybe like when he was sad or something, he was upset, was towards the beginning of the movie. Maybe she had just like told him she wanted to be divorced or kicked him out of the place or something. And
well, it's after the hearing, you know, when you know, he kicked him out of the place, and he's like, well, I guess I'm just gonna have to live in the fucking street now because I don't have anything to do. No, he had it was after the hearing, you know, she leaves him there from the what's it called? She leaves him in the car, and from there he decides to go back to the place to try to stay there, but obviously that doesn't happen. So he's just like literally still going through, you know, the emotions that he felt at the hearing and having to find out that his wife wants to divorce him.
Right. And so I guess by not helping her, maybe he saw that as like kind of equality because, you know, he's going through something rough. So she should go, that this lady trying to struggle to put this bottle in the bin is equality because she needs to go through something rough as well, or, you know, and so he does that evil smirk and doesn't help her. But then we see fraternity expressed through Valentine helping out. She's the only person who like goes and helps the older person put the bottle into the receptacle. And I think that was her expression of fraternity. And Kieslowski said that like the point of the showing the people and the people putting the glass into the recycling bin in each movie, like it's not that deep. It's literally just like a reminder that we're all going to get old and we're all going to react to becoming old or helping an old person in a different way. And so this was just a way of expressing the character traits of each main character in the film.
Yeah. It's really interesting, you know, and I expected it from, you know, from Valentine, as she's the one who's been the one who like really cares for others in this film. And she's been shown to be the one who like you really see that she values the people around her and really like cares for people in a deep, intimate way. You know, I agree with what Pat, you know, talks about fraternity within his definition, you know, and I think that in this film it's really represented, not just like, you know, fraternity between, you know, obviously Valentine and her brother and her her boyfriend and all these, but you know, Valentine and the strangers that she meets, and how, you know, with Kern, how she develops a really beautiful friendship with Kern, and then also just you know, the random people that she also meets, and she'll develop a shared experience within the ferry, you know, sinking with everybody, especially the judge, the guy who became the judge, being in there too. And you know, in a way, I think Christoph is talking about just us in general as humans, how we've grown these various things that separate us. We've created tools, we created labels and all these things that, you know, separate us as who we are, but like we all have very specific similar, you know, experiences. You know, we all experience loss, we all experience love, you know, how it's represented, how it's not represented. You know, it's different, and who we love is very different from with everybody. You know, we also share the experience of of a friendship, and how we can create friends, and how we can, you know, deal with friends, how we treat friends, and who they are, and their place in our lives is different between everybody. But the idea of friendship is a very shared experience within our lives, and the way that we approach our friendship, our love, and our loss, you know, it's all very interconnected into the human experience and the human condition.
That was deep right there. You got into it.
Yeah, I mean, you know, because like I was watching some different Christoph, and you know, Christoph said that like his movies are about opening up. Like he says, like his movies are about opening up, and in a way, like yeah, like that's something you've seen like in all three of these movies. It's about, you know, opening yourself up to not just the world around you, but the people. Like Kern opening himself up to Valentine, telling her about, you know, his first love, his first and last love that, you know, died in the English Channel, and how like, you know, he feels like he's never been able to love anybody ever again, but like in a way he feels something for Valentine, but it's just too late for him to do anything with her because he's at the end of his life already, you know. But you know, it's also what's it called? You also look at the what's it called? How important it is for what's it called? How the lack of opening up from the judge, the character. I can't hold on. I gotta stop calling him the judge. I need to find the fucking name of him. His name is August Brunner. Yeah, August, and the lack of opening up by his partner, who ends up having sex with another man, and like they're not being 100% honest with each other, and they're being like, she's being what's it called, unfaithful with him. And then of course how Valentine seems to be the only character who opens up from the beginning. What's it called, she's very honest with, like, the photographer trying to kiss her, and he's like, nope, like, you're my friend, like, I don't think about you that way. And like how she constantly opens up with her brother and her partner, and her partner's a little bit of an asshole too, a little bit.
That guy was so annoying.
Yeah, that guy was annoying, dude. Like, fuck off, dude.
Yeah.
But, like,
I loved the way that she turned down the photographer.
Yeah.
He like asked her like, what's on your mind or something, when she denied the kiss, and she was like, not you. It's like, dang, dude. It's awesome.
Yeah, man, fucking rejected right off the spot, bro. But you know what? A lot of us be down bad these days, bro. Yeah, really down bad. Yeah, and it just I think that, like, how simply us as humans, just like before, like the last episode, how we were like, how a lot of us want to belong somewhere, a lot of us want to be wanted, a lot of us want to be loved, a lot of us want to be accepted for the people we are. In this film, it's like, we are able to belong somewhere, we are able to be wanted. It's just what's it called, being able to express ourselves and finally open ourselves up to people, to build that connection of whether it be a romantic relationship or just being purely a friendship. What did you think about the whole aspect of all that in this film?
The aspect of like friendship,
fraternity, and just how, because we look back at like the French ideal of fraternity. You're talking about, like, brothers in arms who are are uniting for the common good and the common need for revolution, and wanting to gain freedom from an oppressive regime of a government. And then you look at it in this film, and it's like it's a little bit different from the the original idea of French fraternity.
True. I guess I think a little bit about how kind and caring she is for, I forgot his name again, but the other main character, the older man. And like, she doesn't really necessarily agree with what he does with the wiretapping, and like, it kind of makes her uncomfortable, but she's still so caring for him, because I guess she sees like some kindness in him in some way. So I think that's very nice. Yeah.
Yeah. And she's just like a very sweet person who obviously, like, she cares for others a lot, man. And she tends to put, like, she's really interested in getting to know what makes these people tick and all that. And at first, like, of course, what's it called, she runs over the dog, and immediately, like, anybody else could have just been like, well, fuck the dog, I just killed it, whatever. I know a lot of friends who ran over dogs, and they were like, fuck it.
Wait, you know a lot of friends that have ran over dogs?
Yeah, like, they've accidentally run over animals, and they'll be like, fuck it, whatever, just speed up, like, whatever. I mean, it's fault that it ran into the fucking street.
Dude, you got some crazy friends.
Yeah, my grandpa hit a fucking dog once, and the fucking his defense, like his card, like defense, just fucking broke down. He was like, fuck it, I mean, it's it happened. I think the dog was fine. It ended up like limping, but like, she's different. She's different. She got down. She checked up on the dog. She picked it up. She took it. She went to go find the owner. The owner just tells him, like, fuck it, you take care of him. Like, I don't want it. What's it called? I don't want anything in my life. She takes, she's unlike a lot of people. Like, she goes to the vet. She fixes her up. She takes care of the dog. The dog ends up still going back to her, to what's it called? To Kern. And, it's like, what's it called? Valentine is a very, very different character compared to to the other characters in the other films.
One thing that I thought was kind of crazy was when she picked up the dog
Mm-hmm.
She picked it up and like I would have at least gotten like a towel or blanket or something, but she got all bloody and everything. I was like,
Yeah.
dang.
Yeah, she
Because
cared, bro.
yeah, I think there's a scene where she's like maybe trying to find the vet or something.
Yeah, she
like,
got the blood all over her fingers and shit. Yeah.
yeah, that was a cool shot. But I was like,
Yeah.
she got
Yeah.
into
I was
that.
kind of grossed out, but like, yeah, it's like, fuck it, man. Come on, just get the damn what's it called? Get the damn towel. It's not that tough.
Mhm.
Um,
I'm gonna mute myself as I'm trying to find as I get my laptop charger so I don't wrestle around.
all right.
But you
Yeah,
can
no
keep
worry.
talking.
Yeah, don't worry. It's fine because I'm gonna get us into breaks. So we're gonna go ahead and continue on with our discussion here of Three Colors Red when we come back from our wonderful break, and we'll see you guys after these words from our sister shows on the Nerdcore Podcast Network. We will hear you. We will talk with y'all after we come back from this regular scheduled break. We'll see you after the break, guys. Hey, I'm Raul Alejandro Mendoza, and this is
Jabril Newton.
and we are the hosts of High Flyer Radio. And finally, pro wrestling has come back to the Nerdcore podcast feed in the form of a show hosted by Jabril and I. And we talk about everything and anything in the pro wrestling world on Mondays at 3 p.m. Central Standard Time.
Nothing's off limits. Whatever you guys want to talk about, it is from AEW to SmackDown to Raw to NXT. Nothing's off the table. We can talk about it.
We're going to talk all about it. And if you can get it a day early, you should go to the www.patreon.com/thenerdcore and pledge to the tiers on there so you can get this show and a lot of shows days early before anybody else gets to hear it. But enough talking about it. We'll go ahead and see you there at the Squared Circle.
Oh, yeah.
Don't tap out. Tune in.
Tune in.
Hello, 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 guys and gals, and you're listening to The Ladies of Nerdcore. I am your host, Daniela Nunez, and along with my amazing co-host, Ashley Garcia, we discuss many things like social impact, pop culture, political realms, and any controversy surrounding the Nerdverse. Tune in and listen to us bi-weekly on the Nerdcore podcast feed, and we will love to chat and hear your thoughts on our wonderful show. And thank you again for listening to The Ladies of Nerdcore.
Hey everyone, my name is Raul the Nerdy Chicano, and I am the host of The Impaired Files. The Impaired Files is a interview show brought to you every Thursday on the Nerdcore podcast feed. And I interview people such as filmmakers, content creators on YouTube, and podcasters like Colton Geschwander. And if you want to listen to that early, a whole week early, all you got to do is go to the Patreon and pledge to the $1 tier. And if you want to listen to it with the general public, then go to Nerdcore podcast feed on anchor.fm/the Nerdcore. And the case is closed, but it's not classified. See you guys there.
Hey, it's Ashley from the Gamer Core. You may remember me from such episodes as Big Screen Mess, Mo Money Mo Platforms, and Brad Can Read. Tune in weekly as I blab with my co-hosts Raul the Nerdy Chicano and Brad the Random Germ about the latest news in gaming and gush over what we're playing at the moment. Oh yeah, and we got the deals too. Keep up with the latest deals in gaming and what's happening as I mediate Brad and Raul fighting like a married couple. Will Death Stranding ever come out? Will Cyberpunk 2077 live up to the hype? Is a next gen worth a $500 console price tag? And has there ever been a movie adaptation of a video game that's been done right? It's all on the Gamer Core podcast, everywhere where podcasts are.
Hey guys, this is Brad, aka Young Yoda. Raul said I had to make an ad, so that's what I'm doing. It's supposed to be for Unstructured, but as you guys know, you can freaking catch me everywhere when it comes to this podcast feed. You can find me on the Nerd Cores, on Gamer Cores, on Nerdy Chicanos sometimes when I get lost. But for this particular one, I want you guys to go check out Unstructured. The Raul gave me free reign to do whatever I want to do. I don't know what he was thinking. So go hear me talk about LeBron James and Taco Tuesday, vaping, so many other freaking weird topics that chimichangas, that's a good one. Shout out to Deadpool. And yeah, I guess this is the end of the ad. So if you guys want to find me, you can find me all over the place on this podcast feed. Anyways, thank you guys for listening. I love you all. And nerd up.
Hey everyone, I'm Raul.
And I'm Brad.
And we're the hosts of the Nerdcore podcast. The podcast that talks that nerd. Not on this ad, right?
Not
and
on this one.
We come to you every Monday, Tuesday, and Saturday. On the Mondays, we talk the news. That's the box office, the news of the week, and your trailer talk if there is any. And on Tuesday, we have our theme review. And on Saturday, you have a Saturday morning review, usually movies that have come out in the week or anything we want to talk about. Right, Brett?
Exactly. Whatever we want to talk about, this is our show. If you don't like it, then you don't have to listen.
We're the flagship show, the Nerdcore podcast feed, and we can be found everywhere you can listen to podcasts like Stitcher, Apple Podcasts. So if you want to talk that nerd stuff with us every Monday, Tuesday, and Saturday, make sure you tune in. And Brad?
Young Yoda out.
Welcome back to the Cinema Condition, and we're back from break. I want to thank you all so much for sticking with us through the break. I do have an almond in my mouth as I'm chewing it, and I hope it's not, you cannot hear it. And Patty has some hot Cheetos. So, you can't really do these things without having a full stomach. And sometimes we start it when we don't have full stomachs. So, I want to thank you so much for sticking with us through the break. All right. Almond is it's going to be digested. As always, you can check out all those shows on the Nerdcore Podcast Network by going to anchor.fm/the Nerdcore, CORPS, and then you go ahead and also give them a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts by going to the Apple Podcast page. And also you can find our Apple Podcast page there for the Cinema Condition, and you give us a 5-star review too, please. It really, really, really helps us out by having people get some eyes on us, and also it helps us, send that stats to like sponsors and stuff, which we would love to get. Criterion, we talk a lot about you. It'd be great to be sponsored by you. It would really be great.
They should, dude. They totally should.
I've been whoring myself out to you for ages, and I would just love to be sponsored by you. The balls are in your court. The ball is in your court. Also, if you want to get the video version of this podcast, you have to be a patron of the Nerdcore by going to patreon.com/nerdcore. You get my face, you get Pat's face. I have not shaved at all. I'm being real honest. I have not shaved at all. It's been really tough to find time to shave. And guess what? Pat looks a lot better than me right now. So, you can see him, you can see me, and you get the episode days. This one's going to be up days early because we did record a little bit late, but you're still exclusive. It's still exclusively up just for you for a bit. And I can't wait. I hope you all go into patreon.com/nerdcore, CORPS, and you go ahead and give us and go in and pledge for $1 a month, and anything up from there, you get access to all the episodes early, and you get a bunch of other cool exclusives like movie commentaries and such. But all that said, I want to go ahead and say thank you all so much for listening to the break and listen to this wonderful ad. We're going to go ahead and get back into our conversation on Grisa Grizoski's 3 Colors Red. All right. I wanted to bring up the last thing that, that we brought up also. It's not the last thing, but it was one of the things I wanted to bring up first. What's it called? Blue is considered an anti-tragedy. White is an anti-comedy. This one was described as an anti-romance. How do you, now after rewatching the film and me watching the film, what do you think anti-romance means within this movie, Pat?
I think you could really see, I'm going to look up his name. Who are the characters in Three Colors Red?
Valentine, Kern, and August.
Kern. Okay.
Joseph. Yeah, Joseph.
Joseph. I'll call him Joseph. How about that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, yeah, we got Joseph and Valentine, and I think their relationship feels a lot like a romance movie, but it is obvious that she is not interested in him in a romantic way, and he's too old for her, and it is like just not gonna work out in that way. But I feel like every way that it like plays out, if he was just younger and more attractive, then they totally would have like hooked up or became partners or whatever, you know? So I kind of see it as like they're doing everything that a couple would do, like the steps that a couple would take to become closer together. I mean, she even gives out like a single ticket to like one of her big modeling shows, and it goes out to him. He dresses very nice, and he doesn't get out very often, but he dressed very nice. And the way that they shot it, it was kind of a whole thing, like how he got out of his house and opened his like the doors to his like garage or barn or whatever was holding his car, and pulls out. It felt like a really nice formal event that she had invited him to, and it was nice for him to get out. And it almost felt romantic, but it didn't, because it was obvious that there weren't romantic feelings. And even like the way that they leave each other, he like puts his hand on the window and she touches it, and it's a very nice moment. But again, it's obvious like they're not going to go hook up later. So it's like when you say anti-romance, I think like it's like he's almost teasing you and making fun of the way that some romance movies build, but they always kind of fall into the same trope of like, of course, like they're going to fall in love in the end, no matter like their differences. But with this, it's like they take the steps to fall in love, but they don't. They're just buddies.
Yeah. And I had the same thought, like, you know, how, you know, Karen and Valentine's relationship is literally like bar for bar kind of the steps that a couple takes to, like, you know, court each other. And somehow, you know, that's just not what's going to happen, because Karen understands how he feels about, you know, maintaining a romantic relationship, and Valentine obviously has somebody who she loves. And you know, I feel like at the end is when Valentine kind of realizes that, like, I mean, I guess, you know, it really isn't meant to be with him, the one who's what's it called in England. And how, you know, I kind of got this I got this sort of you know, sign from the universe that there's other stuff that I can be, you know, concentrate on, that deserve just as much as my equal attention, that doesn't doesn't have to relate to him. And you know how, you know, what's it called, she's obviously gonna, you know, when she returns back, she's gonna have a puppy from the dog, and you know, she's gonna get to see Kern more often, and you know, what's it called, kind of build a stronger friendship with each other. And you know, it's just interesting the way that how, you know, it's kind of destroying those expectations that we usually have for, like, oh, man and woman in film, like, of course they have to end up together, right? You know, they have to end up together at one point. And kind of Christoph, it's like, nah, like, that's not what my movie's about. Like, we're mostly about, it's mostly about how these two people who kind of find each other are going to be able to, you know, build something special that doesn't have to be specifically romantic at all. I think that in a way is what the whole anti-romance, and also just the way that Valentine kind of rejects the romance and infidelity from others. You know, how she rejects, you know, the kiss from the photographer, how, you know, she rejects being, how she rejects, you know, that kiss from the, you know, she rejects the whole idea of becoming sort of, unfaithful to her boyfriend. And, you know, that reflects also in the way that in the partner of August, who, you know, who is being, unfaithful. So I don't know, maybe like, I don't know if we got the impression that her boyfriend was cheating on her. Do you think, like, because she had Kern called that lady for the weather reports, and she said that she was gonna leave to England because her boyfriend has a yacht and all that. Like, she's gonna go see her boyfriend. Like, I don't know. Is she talking about the same guy? What did you think about that? Because I kind of had that thought in my head. I'm like, is that the guy that Valentine is with?
So you think that the weather lady girlfriend Wait, so you think that the weather lady girlfriend is hooking up with Valentine's boyfriend? No, I don't think that boyfriend had much connection in the story outside of like the phone call conversations that Valentine had. I think he was just a bum. I think he was just a bum and like was just weirdly like possessive. What was the last conversation that they had? Was it like, wasn't he like mad at her for like getting in the shower and undressing or something? And not even mad. He was just like, "Are you undressing for someone else?" And she was like, "No."
Yeah, because like I think he had said like, "Oh, I'm gonna go to bed." He's like, "Are you in bed? Like, are you like?" And she's like, "No, I'm gonna go shower." And he's like,
Yeah.
"Well," he goes, "Are you still there? Are you there?" And he's like, "Whatever." She like just hangs up the phone.
Mhm.
She goes, yeah, I mean, it was just a thought in my head. I don't think that. I was just like, it was a thought in my head that like, she's
Yeah.
talking about the same guy, or maybe it's just our way of setting up. They're like, hey, it's not just gonna be Valentine who's going on the ferry. Like, there's gonna be other people who are leaving,
Mhm.
and I think that's kind of like the whole anti-romance thing. I thought it like kind of subverts expectations in a way of what we think like when we see a man and a woman on film. You know, it doesn't just have to be romantically. Like, I'm sorry, y'all. What's it called? People can be friends with each other and, not be dating if they're of the opposite, gender identity or same. It doesn't matter. People can be friends with each other, And,
Yeah, we're friends, right?
yeah, dude. No, low key, I'm hitting it though, but but yeah, we're friends. Yeah, we're friends. It's called. Yeah, man. I think that was just interesting, and how I look at it, the grand scheme of like, how Blue is an anti-tragedy and how it depicts that, how, we discussed about how White discusses it being like an anti-comedy and like, how like the hero doesn't end up in a better place at the end, the hero ends up back at square one. And we'll talk more about that when we get to like the ending because, we find out some stuff at the end. But, animals have an odd showcase in this film. We see dogs. It's mostly what we see. Of course, we're gonna see dogs. The man's best friend. It's called. The dogs are beautiful creatures who are supposed to be humans' best friend. Not a lot of slack is given to the cats. Cats are cool. Cats are cool too, man. But you gotta just they learn to love you. Dogs automatically like they really like you. Rita, which is the dog that Valentine runs over. She ends up giving it back to Kern. She has puppies and stuff. Like that's one dog. Then we have August's dog, who I don't. Throughout this film, I do not see August actually give a shit about this dog. Like I don't know. Do you think that? Because like never at one point did I see him really giving a shit about this dog.
Yeah, maybe at the beginning. I feel like there may be a scene at the beginning, but yeah, you're right. Like, there's even a scene where he's like driving and ties it up, just like to a sign next to a highway. That was so bizarre to me. And then like when after he sees his girlfriend or ex-girlfriend like hooking up with the other dude, he goes and just shoves the dog on the ground and it like squeals. Oh, that was so sad to me.
That made me so sad, dude. Like, I'm a dog guy. I have 2 dogs outside of this door who are barking right now. I have 2 puppies. I love those dogs a lot. They get on my nerves a lot. They piss me off. I never shove them. But like the interesting thing about dogs is how dogs are so loyal creatures. Dogs are so friendly. Dogs reflect the personality of their their owner. And dogs are supposed to be, friendly creatures. They are in a way another form of fraternity, and they are, they love the people that they're around. They care for them. So that dog could have easily like just bit Valentine for running him over. And yet he allows himself. She allows herself what's it called to be fixed by Valentine. She licks her face. She even allows what's it called herself to own her for a bit. Like she, obviously when she when she unties her, she goes back to her original owner. But like that's a dog having a connection to their original owner. So they need to know how they're doing, and and then even like she's gonna give him he's gonna give her one of her puppies, and how like those dogs that she's gonna form a relationship with that dog. And I just thought it was so interesting in the film that we're talking about fraternity and like growing friendships. We also talk about the friendship between an animal and a human, how like it's supposed to be one of the most like loyal friendships, and also one of the most purest form of friendships, because it's such a primitive friendship of man and dog. Yeah.
Interesting.
Anything else you thought about the dogs?
I didn't think super deeply about the dog. I thought the dog was really cute, Rita. But aside from that, no, I don't feel like I really looked a whole lot into the dogs. I did just look up, however, that the old man, I don't think he's ever given a name, because he's credited as just the judge.
Who? Kern?
Yeah.
His name is Kern on Wikipedia.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting. Because on IMDb, I'm looking and it's just the judge.
Yeah. Well, shit. I don't know, man.
Crazy.
I'm crazy. Yeah, just going crazy with it. There was also just, of course, let's briefly talk about the music and the color within this. Like red. There's a lot of red here. It's everywhere. The Jeep of August's Jeep is red. There's a lot of red being, and we've already kind of talked about it, but I just wanted to say how like, the red is mostly in the environment. It's not really, it's kind of like white, but like it's in the buildings and everywhere. It's not like seeping through, like, fantastically being shown at you like in blue, but it is, all over. It's in walls. It's on, tables, it's on, clothes, it's on what's it called, on cars, that's where you find the red. And what did you think about the way that they put the color in here?
Yeah, I just loved it. Kind of like I said earlier about the cinematography. He just like, he goes all out and makes everything look so beautiful, but it also fits. It feels like it works so well. Yeah, from like, I mean, the picture that's the banner that's hung up that she modeled for, to the Jeep, to just like items in the house. I think at one point, one of them gets Marlboros and it's like the red case. It's incredible how much they fit into the film, and it's all so casual. Yeah, it's a little less like surreal, compared to Blue, how Blue, like, they said that they literally wrapped the camera in blue gels. It was a little more natural this way.
Yeah.
And I think it's awesome.
Yeah, and also the music in here. The music is so fantastical. Unlike in White, I think the music has a big part to play in here too. Like the music feels so interconnected, and it's how like these characters kind of feel interconnected with each other. What did you think about the music?
To be honest, I didn't pay a whole lot of attention to the music in this.
The music was beautiful, bro.
Yeah, I think maybe the one time I did was when. Okay, no, I think there are two moments. One time was like, I think her first runway show that we see towards the beginning. Is there music during that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and that was really nice. And then there's one point when she's talking to the judge, and it was like some really sweet music, and I think it was just kind of emphasizing like how sweet their relationship is and honest, and I thought that was interesting.
Yeah. There's also some odd stuff being done here, like the depiction of glass within the movie. The stone being thrown through the window. I don't know if you noticed, like when they're bowling, when Valentine is bowling, like this shot going towards like her, we see some glass on the floor next to the Marlboro, a pack of cigarettes, and in a way, I think that's talking about Kern, and the way that like glass itself is a very fragile sort of what's it called item. It's
Mhm.
easy to break. But also like current throughout most of this movie until the climax at the what's it called at the show, he's looking at life through the glass. He's looking at it through behind his closed doors, and he's looking at life outside. He refuses to let anybody in, even though the door is always open. He's looking at life through just his own home. I thought it was interesting how they kind of depict that with the use of glass.
Hmm.
Yeah.
That's
Also,
interesting.
the placements. I don't know if you noticed this. The placements of people. When Kern goes to what's it called to the fashion show, Valentine is upper. She's on a platform. She's higher than him.
Mm.
Let's go. My shit is like a little bit. What's it called? Okay, there we go. Yeah, like that. When August catches, what's it called, them at the restaurant, she comes to walk. She runs after him, and August is on the thing on the below her. What's it called? August is below her while she's looking for him and she's on top.
Mhm.
Yeah. And there's those are the two instances that I found. It's interesting how like we're talking about we're talking about fraternity, right? We're talking about things that should be equal playing field, but like at times he's kind of reinstating the idea of like what's it called, the white, like some people just view themselves better than the others. And I'm not saying that at least for Valentine's sake, but like maybe Kern sees himself as such just another older man to her. Like she's on another level that sadly he can't get there anymore because of his age and his experiences. When Valentine just doesn't feel that way about her. She sees him as an equal, an equal person in his life. What did you think about that? Did you notice that within the movie?
I didn't.
Yeah. Damn, bro, it's my first time watching. You telling me I noticed more than you?
No, there's actually a couple things at the end I want to point out. But no, I didn't really think about the placement. But yeah,
You
now
kind
that
of agree with what I say, though?
oh yeah, I think
Yeah.
so. Yeah, there's definitely some intentionality, and even like when you're talking about the scene when August is hiding from his ex. Even before that, like he's above her because he's like looking down at her in the restaurant, and he's standing and looking down at her. But then it swaps when he leaves, and she's above him, like looking for him. So that could be another interesting element.
Yeah, like how a lot of us be like, a lot of men be like, oh no, like I'm gonna get on her for cheating on me, man. Fuck this girl, oh fuck her, But like at that moment, like August is like, nah, bro, I don't even have the words to fucking tell this girl. Like, I can't deal with her right now. Like I can't. And it's just interesting the way that kind of Grusowski and just the way that the cinematography like has that placement and how we see that. Like it's interesting. And how like even though we're supposed to have these wonderful, what's it called, relationships, we still somehow in them there's the feeling of somebody being higher than the other, and it's never really an equal playing field when it should be. There's also like, of course, talking about privacy a lot in this film. Literally the movie revolves around a guy who was what's called eavesdropping, but then we find out that the neighbors also eavesdrop on each other, and how like we like it's interesting, like like we talk about. I'm not gonna talk about France because like I don't know France well, but like we look at America and look at its creation and how like we were supposed to unite together to rid ourselves from the arms of an oppressive British what's it called rule, and like we talk about like being people like uniting together and helping each other for a better cause, and like after that we still somehow find a way to separate ourselves and want to see what's going on. Like we can't trust each other, even now that like there's surveillance and there's like wiretapping and all that, like somehow there is no idea of privacy. Like we all want to still somehow be cognizant of what we do and like what others do and what their lives are like, and like it's the curiosity, excuse me, that's, let's be real, it's human nature to be that curious about each other. But to take it to the extreme of having to eavesdrop, like I think it's just so odd in how it's kind of portrayed in here. What did you think about that? Like the whole eavesdropping and the whole like sort of like precursor to wiretapping that we saw in here.
When you say that the neighbors were eavesdropping on each other, when was that expressed?
So what's it called? When we go to the judge's house, and she's like, what's it called? He's playing with that thing where he can hear the conversations, right? She goes to the other people to try to tell them, but they have the same machine that they're using to see what others are saying too.
Oh, how the daughter's listening to
the daughter's listening in. Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess that's maybe just an expression of people's curiosity and how, like, yeah, like what you said, how like we'll get mad at people for like doing wrong to us, but when we do it to others, it's like it's just another thing. It's what we do. That's how life works, you know. Not everybody's nice, type of thing. Yeah, I think that's something I love so much about Kieslowski is like he portrays such like simple and mundane things in such beautiful ass ways. Like whether it's like a deep emotion like love, or just a very simple like interaction between an old person and a young person, helping them recycle a piece of glass. Like it's crazy how he even expresses himself that it's simple, and it's like it's just a reminder that we're all going to be old one day, but it can tell so much about the character and be involved in the movie somehow.
Yeah. And somehow just just being being a good, what's it called, part of society, being a caring person, being a friend, being a good family member. Like family is also a big thing here. Like what's it called, Valentine, caring so much for her brother who's an addict, and trying to make sure that her brother's okay, and constantly calling to check up on her. Like how like Valentine just cares so much about her family. And, that's one thing too. It's like, us being a good form of society, and just how we are supposed to like act within our society, and how sometimes, that's not the case with everybody, but, obviously, we approach it so differently. And I think that, Kieslowski just does such a great job at that. And it's just, there's also the other, kind of like, what's it called, the relationship between the law here and society, and like, how like it's called, the law has such like an intrusive, relationship with the people at times, but like also like the law can get away with a lot of things because, up until the judge turned himself in, like nobody was doing shit, they didn't really do shit about it. Like other people are doing the same thing, but ain't nobody doing shit about it either, bro. Like, and how like it, even though you work within this like very, what's it called, greater good type of profession, like you're still kind of what's it called, prone to just breaking the law just as much as the people outside of the law do too. And how it feels like, what's it called, there's such a odd relationship, and that comes from just, let's be real, the government, who's like not enforcing it as well as it should be, and the people who just kind of just carried on with it. But I thought it was just so interesting too, how like we talk about the judge, and how like he even talked about the first person that he tried, and what's it called, and all that. Like like there's just this odd kind of relationship between the law and the society in this film.
Yeah, there definitely is.
Yeah. All right, you want to talk about the ending?
Yeah.
Let's do it for the last part of today. Let's go. We're gonna talk about that ending, because that ending is wild. I there's a lot of endings within movies. I'm like, oh, I didn't expect that. I really didn't expect this. Like, I really didn't expect it to go like that. So, like, of course, we find out, that Valentine is gonna go to England to go visit her boyfriend. When we get there, what's it called? August is holding his dog. He's going into the ferry as well. Valentine goes in. Back at Kern's house. Kern is just taking care of the puppies, which by the way look beautiful. beautiful little puppies. And he's trying to decide which one he's gonna give to Valentine.
Mm-hmm.
And then we find out, like, on the TV that there was two things that sunk, right? They were like something else sunk, and also the ferry sunk. The ferry to go into the English Channel sunk. And Kern, you just see Kern's face like devastated, like, oh shit. Like, he automatically thinks about Valentine and whether she's okay and what happened to her. And we see, people being rescued, and like more than 100 people are rescued. First, we see, of course, Julie. Julie comes out. Julie from Blue come out. And then we see Caro from White come out. And then, to our surprise, we also see Dominique. Yeah. I don't know where.
Dominique was Carol's.
Caro's, a wife. Don't know where the placement of this is. Is this them at the beginning of the relationship? Is this towards the end? Like, did Dominique come out of jail? We'll talk all about that later. Right now, after
I didn't even think about that.
Yeah. We also see Olivier from Blue. Then we see Auguste from Red, and then of course we see Valentine. What did you think about that? Like, first of all, I want to get, like, first time you ever watched this film, what did you think about that ending? Like, just how it, because like my mind was fucking blown, bro. Like, my mind was fucking blown. Like, I really can't explain it more. And I think that's really why I gave this movie 4.5 out of 5 stars, just because of that fucking ending. It was wild. It was really wild. What did you think?
It was wild. So I'm trying to think about that timeline now, because let's see. So Julie and Blue doesn't become intimate with Olivier until the end of the film.
And at the end of the film is where we see Dominique and Caro at the courthouse towards the end of the film.
Wait, sorry. Which film?
Blue. Remember, in Blue, she goes into the wrong room towards the middle and the end of the film. So, like,
why does she go in that room again? Why did she go to the courthouse?
I don't remember at this point, bro. But, like, what's it called? All I know is that. Yeah.
So, I'm thinking that it's like far along. This is like years after when Dominique is now out of jail, because she wouldn't have been on a trip with Olivier when she was married to her husband, because Julie was faithful to her husband. So I'm thinking that Dominique was now out of jail. Her and Carol were together, and Julie and Dominique and Olivier are hanging out. And then we got Valentine and Auguste coming out with his little dog, who you thought was
he didn't have the dog with him.
Oh, he didn't have the dog.
No, the dog wasn't with him.
Oh, I thought you were saying that it was.
No. Okay. He goes into the ferry with the dog. When he's in that freeze frame, he doesn't have his dog with him. Yeah. So I'm thinking, what's it called? I think about the timeline of all that, like, and I mean, like, it really, what's it called? Figuring out this timeline has a lot to say about these 3 films itself, about like how Caro still ends up going back with Dominique, and how they end up being together, and he absolves himself from finally being he's finally accepted by Dominique, and I'm guessing they just work and become different people. Julie absolves herself from her grief, and she moves past it, and she's able to healthily be in a relationship with Olivier, and Valentine now shares this experience with others, and she realizes, like, maybe my place isn't going to England. Like, I need to be working on the relationships and my family back where I live. And and then August obviously realizing, like, I can't run away from my problems. Like, I have to kind of, like, what's it called? approached them head on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, did you notice the match frame at the end? How her looking is the same shot that she's put on the banner for?
Yeah, and she looks at the same shot, and like her looking, surprised, and just like there's a sudden realization there of something, and
I wonder if there's something to be said there about like a photographer's way of seeing the future or something.
Yeah, we kind of capture how they capture just those candid emotions that can't be captured unless we're in the moment, I was like, I just look at that ending. I was like, what the fuck? Like, holy shit. Like, they're here. They're all here. And how just I feel like, you share that shared experience of how like all those people will like feel like somewhat interconnected with each other because they had this moment. I also, I tried looking at Karo. I tried to look at like his haircut, and I was like, does it look like the same hair like that he had at the end of it? But like it didn't. But also like we think about like, hey, maybe his hair grew out like after she got out of jail. Like I don't know. I really don't know.
So do you, or were you going to say something?
No, you go ahead.
Do you think that Auguste and Valentine became partners after that?
I think so, because I think they'll get to know each other because Kern is the older version of Auguste.
Okay, cool. I didn't know if you got that or not. I was gonna
yeah. Kern is the older version of Auguste, and had a wife who fucking cheated on her. I had a partner who cheated on her, and then she leaves, and like it's the older. And I think that Auguste will take the steps to become different than Kern, and that's why I said that like Kern, Auguste is gonna go back home and approach his problems instead of trying to run away from them, and I think in that process he will probably get together with Valentine.
So do you think that Kern is literally Auguste, like?
No. I just think he's a representation of an older version of Auguste. Yeah.
I think it's literally him.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Why?
Because there's so many things that allude to it within the film. Like, let's see. There's one point where he's a judge. He was a judge, and that's what Auguste was. That's what he worked towards. Kern talked about how he went and saw his ex-wife, and her legs were spread and there was a man in between, which is exactly what Auguste did. He talked about how he dropped his book, and when he picked the book up, there's a question there that lined up exactly to a question that would be on the test, which happened to Auguste as well. And then he calls the weather lady. And I mean, that's just a thing in itself as well. When he's like listening to the weather lady and Auguste's conversations, that may just be a way of him like kind of gauging the time of his past or whatever. But he mentions at one point to her, he's like, oh, I'm interested in the weather in the English Channel. And he asks her about it, and she like giggles, and she's like, oh, I just bought tickets. Or like, I'm going on the English Channel this week as well. Mm-hmm. And he says that he's going to go, but he doesn't. And so I think he's alluding to his younger self going, and not because he doesn't go. He doesn't actually go.
Yeah. I don't know if I can really get down with that, but like, I
think you should watch it again. I think there's a lot of things that allude
because then they meet each other. They see each other at the courthouse because Auguste's first trial is Kern's trial. So, like, how is the younger version supposed to meet an older version? Like, what kind of space-time continuum bullshit is that, bro?
Wait. Sorry. Who meets who?
Yeah, Auguste's first trial as a judge is Kern's, a trial for the eavesdropping at the courthouse. He sees him. He literally what's it called judges him. Yeah.
Wait. Augustus' first trial as a judge?
August as first trial as a judge is Kern's when Kern is there to be tried for the eavesdropping that he turned himself in for. There's literally
I don't think it is.
Dude, we literally see a scene where he's at the courthouse. August is walking into the door into the court, and he turns to look at Kern, and Kern goes, look, and like says hi to him. And Kern is walking in with his girlfriend.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Wait. Kern is walking in with who?
No, I'm sorry, not Kern. August is walking in with his girlfriend, turns around and looks at Kern, and Kern waves hello to him.
Yeah, I don't think there's anything. I think that can be fine if you see your past self.
But that's a trial. Like, it's a literal trial. He's going to be the one to judge him.
Good for him.
I don't know. You don't know what the hell you're talking. Yeah, no.
No, I really do think it's.
Yeah. I just think it's a representation of his old self, and he talks about that dream about her being Valentine being 40 or 50 years old and being with somebody, and I think that's who he's talking about. He's talking about like you're gonna meet somebody and you're gonna love them. It's not the guy in England. It's not.
He's talking about himself.
No,
he's talking about how he's changing.
No,
his
it's not. He even says it can't be me. Because he goes, I wish, but it can't be me.
It's my younger self.
Shut up, man. Yeah,
rewatch it, dude. Rewatch it and
call me. Fuck off.
There's too many things. There's too many things that align, dude.
No,
he literally says that he goes and he sees his wife, and there's a man split between his legs. He talks about the book dropping.
Other people can have other people can have the same experience. We are talking about a film that's built on people being connected with each other because of lived similar experiences and friendship. Like it's easy. It's possible that August is just a representation of what should be done different.
Carbon copy representation.
Carbon copy, yeah. Like
they even look alike.
Bro,
he even looks like an older version.
No, they don't.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
But
this is what happens when I get fucking Pat on the show. He makes me fucking get like this. But we do in that freeze frame and we end the film. And you have anything else to say before we, kind of get out of here?
So there's one more thing that I noticed that I really liked was it seems like in every movie the lead character finds like companionship in these like odd strangers that represent what they're looking for or like represent the idea of the movie. So like for Blue, Julie finds the stripper and becomes friends with the stripper. And I feel like just the idea of a stripper is a very free and free-spirited person, someone who is very open and kind of does their own thing, both like sexually, but also professionally. And then in White, we see Carol become good friends with
Nikolai.
So I think there's two levels to it. It's both someone that it's something that they're looking for, but also the person that has what they're looking for isn't happy. So like, the stripper isn't all that happy, and it's not necessarily because of her job, but like at one point, she sees her dad there, and she's also going through things at the apartment. So, and then in White, we see, Carol become friends with the businessman who,
Nikolai.
He has a wife and kids, and he has a profession, and he has all the things that Carol wants, but the man literally wants to kill himself.
Yeah.
And then I think that in Red, maybe it's manifested through like how it seems like Julie just wants to have like a companionship with her boyfriend.
Her boyfriend, and she also wants to be able to be there for her, be there with her brother. Yeah.
Yeah, and so I guess I was kind of thinking it didn't connect, and I think I just need to think about it a little bit more. But it didn't connect as much with Red. But what I kind of thought was like maybe she just wants to have nice conversations with her boyfriend. She wants her boyfriend to call her. She wants to be able to talk to him. She wants it to be very nice. And the person that she meets is the judge, the guy who taps the old man. And he gets to experience all these different types of conversations, and he gets to have conversations with her, but he's also a pretty sad man himself.
Yeah.
And so it's like, I don't know, what's Kieslowski trying to say with that? Like, should we just like, be true to ourselves and enjoy like our current state in life and not desire what other people have? Because you can be sad in any state of life, no matter what you have.
I think that's a
in
little
material.
bit of
Yeah, it's like you can try to obtain whatever you want, but true happiness is found when you can be content with what you have and make use of what you have.
Content with those around you, and in a way, it's also in this film. Joseph talks about altruism and finding happiness through not just those around him, humans and animals, but like also just spiritual and mental happiness. And so yeah, man.
All right, so we're gonna watch this again together, and we're gonna talk about how the judge is the older version of
he's not, bro. He's not. But whatever. That concludes our conversation on Three Colors Red, and thus concludes our conversation in our trilogy of our conversation on the Three Colors trilogy from Krzysztof Kieslowski. Pat, I want to thank you so much, man. It's been a lot of fun. I want to thank you for choosing these three films. It's been a lot of fun to watch them, but also be able to discuss them with you.
Of course.
But of course, you're not able to get out of here until you choose your film that you will be returning for season 3 of the Cinema Condition. Have you picked it?
I got my list. Let's see. So I was looking at. Do you want me to name the 3 that I'm looking at, or
I want you to make your decision? Okay,
because make my decision.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because you get extra slots. You're a person who comes back for more than one film next season. So in the case that you choose one of these, you might be like, oh, okay, what's it called? I'm going to do that one too. But just give me one choice that we can say, okay, this is the one that I'm coming back first for. There's, we have a lot of other movies, dude. So, choose wisely.
Okay. I'm going to do La Jetée.
All right.
La Jetée. Yeah.
Okay.
I'll explain what La Jetée is.
Yeah. I've watched La Jetée. Yeah.
Oh, you have? Did Hawk make you watch it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So La Jetée, it's a 1962 French science fiction featurette is what they call it, because it's just still photos with narration to create a film. But a lot of people call it one of the best, or like not one of the best, but regarded as a really well-made science fiction film. So I'm pretty inspired by it because it's still photos, and photography is my thing. So the fact that I can talk about photography in this podcast is nice.
And also, it's influenced a lot of films like 12 Monkeys from Terry
I need to
Gilliam.
watch that. I'm sure we'll have to talk about 12 Monkeys during the La Jetée podcast.
Yeah, we'll talk about a lot of the films that are influenced by La Jetée. All right, man. There it is. Patrick will be coming back for season 3 of the Cinema Condition to discuss La Jetée. And as always, Pat, where can they find you, bro?
Oh, yeah. PatGPix.com or at PatGPix on Instagram.
Yeah.
I am about to drop a photo book probably mid to late next month. And I was working on it today, and I'm pretty excited for it. I think it's going to be a pretty badass book, and Raul is featured in it as well. So you get to see the man himself. I
haven't announced this to the people, so I'm going to announce it when this goes public. And of course, we're having our fundraiser stream for Before It Leaves last round of production. But so for every donation, y'all, it's going to be an entry into a raffle to win 2 prints of mine and 2 prints of Pat. So I'm going to buy 2 prints from Pat. I'm going to put 2 prints of mine. For those of y'all who donate, you're entered into a raffle, And how many donations you send, you'll get, if you send in one donation, you get one ticket. You get 2 donations, you get 2 tickets.
Dope.
And then we're gonna raffle off a total of four prints for y'all. So
That's sexy. Good
it's gonna be
stuff.
pretty cool, man. It's gonna be pretty cool.
When are you planning on buying those? Because I'm broke.
Shut up. I'm trying to get through it first. Yeah. Man, this man just wants to make a quick buck off me.
No, you're good.
Yeah. All right, man. And as always, you can find me at the Nerd Chicano on both Instagram and Twitter. YouTube.com. You go and search up my name, Raul Alejandro Mendoza. You subscribe and you get me to 100 subscribers because then I get my custom URL and the ad no longer needs to be this long. Also, twitch.tv/the Nerd Chicano. I'm on the Nerdcore podcast feed a lot. Anchor.fm/Nerdcore. Twitch.tv/Nerdcore. YouTube.com/the Nerdcore. CORPS. I do a lot of cool stuff over there. I play Warzone. I play a bunch of games and I do a bunch of cool stuff. And I do a podcast. All that cool stuff. And as also, I have a website, RaulMendoza.com. My Instagram, you find all that stuff I told you already, the Nerd Chicano. You can go and look at all the cool stuff I do. I do shooting, photography, and all that wonderful stuff. I'm getting ready to go ahead and finish my my film. I have set up a Stream Elements. You can go and tip streamelements.com/the Nerd Chicano. /the tip/the Nerd Chicano, and you can send me a tip. Help me get some donations for Before I Leave's final round of production that Pat has helped me out on. And as always, thank you all so much. It's been a lot of fun being able to do these with you, bro. And without further ado, we will see you all next week for another film with another guest. I do not know who yet. I need to confirm with my person who I think is going to come on. So with that said, we will see you guys next week. As always, take care. We love you. And watch a movie, I guess. I don't know what else to say. But we'll see you guys.
Bye.